What's up everyone, Ed Silver here from Speedruns Live, and today I'm going to talk about the CoroCoro Splat roller that came out in the Sheldon's Picks Volume 2 today. So, back when this was announced, people were immediately questioning the kit, which is Splash Wall and Inkzooka, and people were immediately saying the Splat roller doesn't have the range to make use of a Splash Wall, so why would they give it to it? So, I had decided I wanted to mess with it because it seemed like an interesting weapon, and sure enough, it is. And I actually went and debunked people's thoughts and theories that the Splat Roller doesn't have the range to use the Splash Wall. It actually, flicking with the Splat Roller has the same range as the 52 gal. Now, immediately people are probably typing in the comments, but it can't kill at max range or whatever. That's not the point. Nowhere does it say that people argue that it can't kill with the Splash Wall. People are saying that it doesn't have the range to make use of it, when in fact the flicks from the Splat Roller can go the distance of a 52's fire rate, or their range. Yeah. So it actually can make use of it, and it does enough to pressure people back. Like if you throw a Splash Wall and just flick at people, they're going to step away. And I've actually had a few instances of that today. So, Splash Wall is decent. It allows you to support other people on your team and not just yourself. People that use Splash Walls are too focused on themselves when it comes to using it, hence why people are complaining that the Splat Roller can't make use of it. They're too worried about it not being able to use it for itself, when you should be using the Splash Wall for teammates that don't have it. I was going to say Charger, for example, but now the Bento has a Splash Wall. But say if your team has an E-leader, you can throw him a Splash Wall and then go away. And then Inkzooka. Inkzooka gives Splat Rollers the ability to stop Chargers, which the Krakon can't do, because it can't a Kraken can't shoot an E-leader that's up on a snipe point. A Whale can push him away, but it's not likely to kill them unless they're in a really tight situation. And Inkzooka will allow you to actually fight things at a far distance very quickly. And it's the only roller that can do that at this point. So it's very good special. The CoroCoro Splat roller also has light special depletion. So when you die, you only lose 40% of your special, as opposed to medium, which is 60, or heavy, which is 75. And then so I guess I'll talk about my kit, or my build for it, since I haven't actually done that. So this is it. I have one main of Inksaver Sub, Ninja Squid, Ink Resistance, and then all swim speed. Now you're probably wondering what's with the Ninja Squid. That is actually very useful. I don't understand why so many people have yet to realize that Ninja Squid is actually really good. Especially with the cold-blooded, or the echolocator difference, or the nerf that it got, or I guess balancing technically. The echo no longer lasts as long. It used to last 12 seconds, it lasts 9 now. So people were like, why would you use Ninja Squid? If you get marked, then you're just kind of screwed for 12 seconds, when you could have cold-blooded or whatever. But now with that extra 3 seconds, you're less likely to get approached, or you're immediately destroyed because you're marked. And then when you're not marked, no one can see you when you're moving. So I have the swim speed to correct it, the ink resistance to allow me to push up and play a little bit more aggressive, and then the one main of Inksaver Sub allows me to get an extra full flick after throwing a Splash Wall down. I did some testing prior to the weapon coming out with the Hero Roller and the Suction Bombs, and so I tested Inksaver Sub on that, and then use the calculations and the percentage of the tank used by weapon or the subs to determine how many flicks I would get after throwing a Splash Wall with the CoroCoro. And so having one main of Inksaver Sub, or 3 subs of it, will give you an extra full flick after throwing a Splash Wall. To get another full flick, you would need 3 mains of Inksaver Sub. So I only use one main to get that extra full flick, and then I just use swim speed for the rest of it so I can escape and make use of the Ninja Squid without having the nerf. So, yeah. The weapon itself is really good. I haven't played an actual roller in quite some time. I used to main the Crack-On back before the Octobrush came out, and I think that was the last time I seriously used a splat roller. So I was a bit rusty at starting. I did very poor at the start of the rotation and couldn't do much, and then started getting a little better. But yeah, so I like it. The splash wall is actually decent for the weapon itself in some situations. You can combat other splash walls. It helps for support, and then the Inkzooka helps you fight from a distance. And then if you couple the Inkzooka with the Ninja Squid, you can just fire and then follow the trail and then fire again in like a, say you sneak up on someone, like you shoot down a lane in Port Mackerel, then follow the trail into their side of the map, and then because they don't know you trailed it because of your Ninja Squid, you can just fire again and shoot anyone that's, you know, staring down the lanes or whatever. So it's really good, and yeah, so I'm a big fan of it. Now, when it comes to using it, people immediately assume that I only use brush weapons. I've been trying to use more weapons because I get very limited play in tournaments, as you might have seen with the 3 or 4 videos from a tournament. I get very little play because of only using the Octobrush or the Inkbrush. So I've been trying to learn the 52 gal, which has been appearing in some of my videos. And now I want to focus more on rollers in general, like the Dynamo and whatever, just to help broaden the usefulness that I have, instead of making it seem like the only thing I can do is use one weapon. So I'm definitely planning on using this weapon, probably solely for TC and Splat Zones. I will probably go back to Octobrush for Rainmaker simply because it actually just straight up outclasses all the other rollers in Rainmaker. So why would I use the other ones? So yeah, I definitely enjoy the weapon. It's definitely good. People are too quick to jump at it and mock the splash wall. I definitely feel like people will catch on and realize that it's very good, and it may start to be used in tournaments, maybe by a few people. Unfortunately, what tends to happen is these new weapons come out, and everyone's like, oh, no one uses them in tournaments or whatever. But there are people that do. They're just not the top players, and so people just assume that they're never played, which is unfortunate because there's a lot of good players that are on lesser known teams that play weapons that people say don't ever show up in tournaments, but they just don't get attention. But it'll definitely appear. I will definitely be using it. I may end up using it in some tournaments, so if you're interested in seeing this being used, that'll pop up at some point, hopefully, at least, assuming I get played. So yeah, all I can say is it's definitely worth trying. It's an interesting weapon, and I suggest not knocking it just because of the splash wall and its inability to fight because of it or whatever. The Inkzooka, it actually makes up for the sub, I feel like. The ability to fight ranged opponents in a very fast manner, because Inkzooka, despite all the nerfs, can still fire and travel really fast. And then your ability to just trail the path and just keep going, and then the roller's quick time to kill already. It's just a good weapon, but it's probably just going to get overshadowed simply because the weapon doesn't have Kraken. So yep, thanks for watching everyone, and I will see you all later.